I usually clock out of work at 4 p.m., the kind of routine that becomes so predictable you can set your body clock by it. But that day, nothing felt right from the moment I woke up. My head was heavy, my limbs sluggish, and there was a strange uneasiness sitting in my chest that I couldn't explain. I tried to push through it anyway. Responsibility has a way of dragging you along, even when your body protests. By the time I got to work, I must have looked as bad as I felt. My boss took one look at me, her brows knitting together in concern. "You don't look well at all," she said, stepping closer. "Go home. Get some rest. Come back tomorrow if you're better." I didn't argue. In fact, I was relieved. Something inside me wanted to be home, though I couldn't say why. I grabbed my bag, said a quick goodbye, and left earlier than I ever had in months. The journey home felt longer than usual, like time itself was stretching. The uneasiness grew heavier with every step, settling into something almost like dread. I told myself I was being dramatic, that I just needed sleep. When I finally got to my house, everything looked normal from the outside. Quiet. Still. Safe. But the moment I stepped inside, I knew something was wrong. There were sounds, faint at first, then unmistakable. Laughter, low voices, movement. My heart began to pound, each beat louder than the last. For a second, I thought maybe someone had broken in. But then I recognized the voices. One of them belonged to my husband. The other was Lola's. Lola, my best friend. The same Lola who had cried in my arms months ago when her fiancé left her. The same Lola I had taken into my home without hesitation. I had given her a place to stay, food to eat, comfort when she needed it most. I had told her to take her time, to rebuild, to find her footing again. I moved slowly down the hallway, my chest tightening with every step. The door to the bedroom was slightly open, and then I saw them. Time didn't just stop, it shattered. They were tangled together in a way that left no room for misunderstanding. No excuses, no explanations. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. My mind refused to process what my eyes were seeing. It felt unreal, like I had stepped into someone else's nightmare. Then the door creaked under my hand. They both turned. The shock on their faces mirrored each other perfectly. Wide eyes, frozen bodies, guilt spilling into the air like a thick fog. "Wait!" Lola started, scrambling, her voice trembling. "I can't explain." Explain? The word snapped something inside me. All the confusion, the sickness, the unease I had felt earlier suddenly made sense, transforming into something fierce and burning. Without saying a word, I turned and walked straight to her room. My movements were sharp, fueled by an energy I didn't know I had. I grabbed her suitcase, her clothes, her shoes, everything I could get my hands on, and began throwing them together. She followed me, pleading now. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for this to happen." "Didn't mean?" I finally said, my voice cold and unfamiliar even to me. "You didn't mean to sleep with my husband?" She broke down into tears, but I didn't stop. I dragged the suitcase down the hallway and straight to the front door, flinging it open. Piece by piece, I threw her belongings outside. My husband had come out by then, trying to speak, trying to step closer. "Listen!" "No," I cut him off sharply, turning to face him. "You listen." There was no sadness in me at that moment. No tears. Just a clarity so sharp it almost hurt. "You leave," I said, pointing toward the door. "Now, follow her." He hesitated, as if he couldn't quite believe I was serious. That hesitation was all I needed to confirm everything. This wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a moment of weakness. It had been going on. The realization hit me like a final blow. But instead of breaking me, it steadied me. I thought back to all the times Lola had smiled and told me about her new boyfriend, how she said he was taking care of her, buying her things, making her happy again. I had been happy for her. I had encouraged her. All along, she had been talking about my husband. "What a friend," I said quietly, more to myself than to them. Lola fell to her knees, crying harder. but I felt nothing for her anymore. Whatever bond we had once shared was gone, replaced by something hollow. Please, he said softly. Let's talk about this. There's nothing to talk about, I replied. And there truly wasn't. Trust, once broken like that, doesn't bend. It shatters. They stepped out of the house together, the door closing behind them with a finality that echoed through the silence. For the first time since I had walked in, everything was still again. I stood there in the quiet, my chest rising and falling slowly. It hurt. Of course it did. But beneath the pain, there was something else, the strength. Yes, I had lost a husband and a friend, but I had not lost myself.